In a small town where dreams often collide with reality, Emma, a hardworking waitress, finds solace in her routine life. Her world takes an unexpected turn when she meets Jake, a charming mechanic who frequents the diner. As their friendship blossoms into a sweet romance, Emma believes she's found her happily ever after. But when Jake surprises her with a lavish wedding proposal, the truth about his identity shatters her world. He's not just a mechanic, he's the heir to a fortune. As secrets unravel, Emma must confront her feelings and decide what love truly means. Emma Collins had always been a dreamer, but life had a way of keeping her grounded. At 28, she worked as a waitress at a local diner in the quaint town of Maplewood, where everyone knew each other's names and stories. The diner was her second home, filled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the sound of laughter. Emma loved her job, but she often fantasized about a life beyond the diner, one filled with adventure, romance, and perhaps a little bit of magic. One rainy afternoon, as she wiped down the counter, a tall figure entered the diner, shaking off the raindrops from his jacket. Emma looked up and met the gaze of Jake, the mechanic who had recently opened a shop just down the street. He was handsome, with tousled dark hair and a warm smile that could light up the gloomiest of days. Emma had noticed him before, but today something felt different. "Hey there, Emma," Jake said, his voice smooth and inviting. "Mind if I grab a coffee?" "Of course not. Coming right up," she replied, her heart fluttering as she poured him a cup. As they chatted, Emma learned that Jake was not just a mechanic. He was passionate about cars and had dreams of one day opening his own racing team. They shared stories and laughter, and Emma felt an undeniable connection. It was as if they had known each other for years. Over the next few weeks, Jake became a regular at the diner, always finding an excuse to sit at Emma's counter. Their conversations grew deeper, and Emma found herself looking forward to his visits. He made her feel special, seen, and appreciated. For the first time in a long while, Emma felt a spark of hope for a future filled with love. One evening, after closing the diner, Jake offered to walk Emma home. The streets were quiet, illuminated by the soft glow of streetlights. As they strolled, Jake reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers. Emma's heart raced as she looked up at him, her cheeks flushed. "Emma, I really enjoy spending time with you," Jake said, his voice low and sincere. "You make me feel alive." Emma smiled, her heart swelling with happiness. "I feel the same way, Jake. You've brought so much joy into my life." As they reached her doorstep, Jake hesitated, his expression serious. "I know we've only just started getting to know each other, but I can't help but feel a strong connection. I want to take you out on a proper date." Emma's heart soared. "I'd love that." Their first official date was magical. They went to a cozy Italian restaurant, where they shared delicious food and laughter. Jake was charming and attentive, making Emma feel like the only person in the room. As the night went on, they talked about their dreams, fears, and everything in between. Emma felt a sense of comfort and safety with him that she had never experienced before. As their relationship blossomed, Emma found herself falling for Jake. He was everything she had ever wanted: kind, funny, and genuine. They spent weekends exploring the town, going on hikes, and enjoying each other's company. Emma felt like she was living in a fairy tale, and she couldn't help but dream about a future with him. But as their romance deepened, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that Jake was hiding something. He never spoke about his family or his past, and while she respected his privacy, it left her with lingering questions. She brushed off her concerns, convincing herself that love was worth the uncertainty. As the weeks turned into months, Emma and Jake's relationship flourished. They became inseparable, sharing intimate moments and building a life together. Emma introduced Jake to her friends and family, and he quickly became a beloved part of her world. They celebrated anniversaries, birthdays, and even the small victories of everyday life. One evening, as they sat on the porch of Emma's small apartment, the sun setting in the distance, Jake turned to her with a serious expression. "Emma, I've been thinking about our future," he said, his voice low. Emma's heart raced. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I can see a life with you. I want to build something together," he replied, his eyes searching hers. Emma felt a rush of warmth at his words. "I want that too, Jake. You make me so happy." As the days passed, their bond deepened. They spent weekends exploring the town, going on hikes, and enjoying each other's company. Emma felt like she was living in a fairy tale, and she couldn't help but dream about a future with him. However, as their romance deepened, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that Jake was hiding something. He never spoke about his family or his past, and while she respected his privacy, it left her with lingering questions. She brushed off her concerns, convincing herself that love was worth the uncertainty. One day, while cleaning out her closet, Emma stumbled upon an old photo album filled with pictures from her childhood. As she flipped through the pages, she came across a picture of her parents' wedding. The joy on their faces reminded her of the love she felt with Jake. She closed the album, her heart aching with the desire for a future filled with love and commitment. That evening, Emma decided to bring up the topic of their future with Jake. They were sitting on the couch watching a movie when she turned to him. "Jake, have you ever thought about marriage?" she asked, her voice tentative. Jake paused the movie, turning to face her. "Marriage? Yeah, I've thought about it. Why do you ask?" "I don't know. I just feel like we have something special, and I can see us building a life together," Emma admitted, her heart racing. Jake smiled, his eyes sparkling. "I feel the same way. You're incredible, Emma. I can't imagine my life without you." As the weeks went by, Emma's feelings for Jake only grew stronger. She found herself daydreaming about their future, picking out wedding venues, choosing flowers, and imagining their life together. But in the back of her mind, the nagging feeling that Jake was hiding something continued to linger. One afternoon while at the diner, Emma overheard a conversation between two customers. They were discussing a recent news article about a wealthy family in town known for their business empire. Emma's ears perked up when she heard the name Harrison. She couldn't shake the feeling that it was connected to Jake somehow. Later that evening, Emma decided to confront Jake about her suspicions. They were sitting on the porch, the stars twinkling above them, when she took a deep breath. "Jake, I need to ask you something." "Sure, what's on your mind?" he replied, looking at her with curiosity. "I overheard something today about the Harrison family." "Do you know them?" she asked, her heart pounding. Jake's expression shifted, and for a moment Emma saw a flicker of something in his eyes: fear. Guilt? "I know of them," he said cautiously. "Why do you ask?" I feel like there's something you're not telling me. You've never mentioned your family, and I can't help but wonder why." Emma pressed, her voice steady. Jake sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Emma, I promise I'll tell you everything. I just need a little more time." Emma felt a mix of frustration and concern. "I don't want to pressure you, but I care about you, Jake. I want to know the real you." "I know, and I appreciate that," he said, his voice softening. "I just need to figure out how to explain it." As the days turned into weeks, Emma found herself caught in a whirlwind of emotions. She loved Jake deeply, but the secrets he kept were beginning to weigh heavily on her heart. She wanted to trust him, but the uncertainty gnawed at her. One evening, as they were preparing dinner together, Emma decided to take a leap of faith. "Jake, I want to show you something," she said, leading him to her bedroom. She opened the photo album she had found earlier and flipped all through the pages until she found the picture of her parents' wedding. "This is my mom and dad on their wedding day. They were so in love, and it always makes me think about what I want in my own life," she said, her voice filled with emotion. Jake looked at the photo, a soft smile spreading across his face. "They look happy," he said, glancing back at Emma. "You have a beautiful family." "Thanks," Emma replied, her heart racing. "I want that kind of love, Jake. I want to build a life with someone who shares my dreams and values." Jake's expression turned serious. "I want that too, Emma. You mean the world to me." Emma took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her next words. "But I need to know that you're being honest with me. I can't build a future with someone who keeps secrets." Jake nodded, his gaze intense. "I promise I'll tell you everything soon. Just give me a little more time." Emma felt a mix of hope and frustration. She wanted to believe him, but the uncertainty was becoming unbearable. As the days passed, she found herself increasingly distracted, her mind racing with thoughts of Jake's hidden life. One afternoon, while walking through the town square, Emma noticed a group of people gathered around a luxury car parked outside a high-end boutique. Curiosity piqued. She approached the crowd and gasped when she saw the car's emblem. It was a Harrison Motors vehicle, the same name she had heard in the diner. Her heart raced as she scanned the crowd, searching for any sign of Jake. What if he was connected to this family? What if he was hiding more than just his past? The thought sent a chill down her spine. That evening, Emma decided to confront Jake again. They were sitting on the couch, the tension palpable in the air. "Jake, I saw a Harrison Motors car today," she said, her voice steady but filled with urgency. "Are you connected to that family?" Jake's expression shifted, and for a moment, Emma saw the walls he had built around himself begin to crack. "Emma, Please, just tell me the truth," she interrupted, her heart pounding. "I need to know who you really are." He sighed deeply, running a hand through his hair. "Okay, but you have to promise to hear me out before you react." Emma nodded, her heart racing. "I promise." Jake took a deep breath, his eyes locking onto hers. "I am connected to the Harrison family. They're my family. My father is the CEO of Harrison Motors, and I left that life behind to pursue my passion for mechanics and racing. I wanted to be my own person, away from the expectations and pressures of my family's wealth." Emma felt a whirlwind of emotions: shock, betrayal, confusion. "So you've been lying to me this whole time?" she asked, her voice trembling. "It's not a lie. It's a part of my life I wanted to keep separate," Jake pleaded. "I love you, Emma. That's all that matters to me." "But it feels like you've been living a double life," she said, tears welling in her eyes. "How can I trust you now?" Jake reached for her hand, but she pulled away. "I need time to think," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. The next few days were filled with turmoil for Emma. She felt lost and betrayed, struggling to reconcile the man she loved with the secrets he had kept. Jake tried to reach out, sending her texts and calling, but Emma needed space to process her feelings. She spent her days at the diner, pouring coffee and serving customers, but her heart wasn't in it. The laughter and chatter around her felt distant, and she often found herself lost in thought, replaying every moment they had shared. The memories of their love felt tainted by the revelation of Jake's true identity. One evening, as she closed up the diner, Emma found herself staring out the window, watching the rain pour down. She thought about the life she had built with Jake, the laughter, the adventures, the love. But she also thought about the trust that had been shattered. Could she ever see him the same way again? Just then, her phone buzzed with a message from Jake. "I miss you, Emma. Can we talk? I need to explain everything." Emma hesitated, her heart torn. She wanted to hear him out, but the fear of being hurt again held her back. After a long internal struggle, she finally replied, "Okay, let's meet." They agreed to meet at their favorite spot by the lake, a place that had always felt magical. The days turned into a blur of confusion and anticipation for Emma. She felt the weight of Jake's secrets pressing down on her, and the uncertainty gnawed at her heart. She wanted to trust him, but the lack of transparency was becoming unbearable. One evening, after a long shift at the diner, Emma returned home to find Jake waiting for her on the porch. The moonlight cast a soft glow around him, and for a moment, she felt a rush of affection. But as she approached, she noticed the tension in his posture. "Hey," she said softly, trying to gauge his mood. "Hey," he replied, his voice low. "Can we talk?" Emma nodded, her heart racing. "Of course." They sat down on the steps, the silence stretching between them. Emma could feel the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air. "I've been thinking a lot about us," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "About what you've been hiding." Jake sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I know I need to tell you the truth, but I'm scared of how you'll react." "Just be honest with me, Jake. I deserve that," Emma urged, her heart pounding. He took a deep breath, his eyes searching hers. "Okay, but promise me you'll hear me out before you say anything." "I promise," she replied, her stomach churning with anxiety. "I'm not just a mechanic," Jake began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. I come from a wealthy family. My father is the CEO of Harrison Motors, and I left that life behind to pursue my passion for cars and racing. I wanted to be my own person, away from the expectations and pressures of my family's wealth. Emma felt her heart drop. "You're serious?" she whispered, her mind racing. "You're a Harrison?" Jake nodded, his expression earnest. "I didn't want to be defined by my family's name. I wanted to earn my place in the world, not just inherit it. That's why I moved here and took the job at the garage. I wanted to live a normal life, to be with someone who loves me for who I am, not for my last name." Emma's mind was spinning. "But why didn't you tell me? We've been together for months and you never mentioned it." "I was afraid," Jake admitted, his voice cracking. "I thought you would see me differently. I wanted you to love me for me, not for my money or my family's status." Emma felt a whirlwind of emotions: shock, betrayal, confusion. "So, all this time you've been lying to me?" "It's not a lie. It's a part of my life I wanted to keep separate," Jake pleaded. "I love you, Emma. That's all that matters to me." "But it feels like you've been living a double life," she said, tears welling in her eyes. "How can I trust you now?" Jake reached for her hand, but she pulled away. "I need time to think," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. The next few days were filled with turmoil for Emma. She felt lost and betrayed, struggling to reconcile the man she loved with the secrets he had kept. Jake tried to reach out, sending her texts and calling, but Emma needed space to process her feelings. She spent her days at the diner, pouring coffee and serving customers. But her heart wasn't in it. The laughter and chatter around her felt distant, and she often found herself lost in thought, replaying every moment they had shared. The memories of their love felt tainted by the revelation of Jake's true identity. One evening, as she closed up the diner, Emma found herself staring out the window, watching the rain pour down. She thought about the life she had built with Jake, the laughter, the adventures, the love. But she also thought about the trust that had been shattered. Could she ever see him the same way again? Just then, her phone buzzed with a message from Jake. "I miss you, Emma. Can we talk? I need to explain everything." Emma hesitated, her heart torn. She wanted to hear him out, but the fear of being hurt again held her back. After a long internal struggle, she finally replied, "Okay, let's meet." They agreed to meet at their favorite spot by the lake, a place that had always felt magical to them. As Emma arrived, she saw Jake standing by the water, his hands shoved deep in his pockets, looking lost and vulnerable. "Hey," she said softly, her heart racing. "Hey," he replied, turning to face her. His eyes were filled with a mix of hope and fear. "I've missed you," Jake said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I've been thinking about everything, and I want to explain why I kept my past a secret." Emma took a deep breath, her heart pounding in her chest. "I'm listening." Jake stepped closer, his eyes searching hers for understanding. "When I left my family, I was running away from a life that felt suffocating. My father had plans for me, plans that didn't include my dreams or passions. I wanted to be free to pursue what I loved, and that's why I came here. I thought if I could start fresh, I could find happiness on my own terms." Emma felt a pang of empathy for him. "But why not share that with me? I would have understood." "I was afraid," he admitted, his voice thick with emotion. "I thought you would see me as just another rich kid, someone who didn't know the struggles of everyday life. I wanted you to love me for who I am, not for my family's name or wealth." Tears filled Emma's eyes as she processed his words. "But you didn't give me the chance to know you. You kept me in the dark, and that hurts." "I know," Jake said, his voice breaking. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I thought I could protect you from my past. But in doing so, I pushed you away." Emma felt a mix of anger and sadness. "You should have trusted me, Jake. I thought we were building something real together." "We were," he insisted, stepping closer. "And we still can be. I love you, Emma. I want to be with you, but I need you to understand my journey. I want to show you who I really am, beyond the name and the money. Emma looked into his eyes, searching for the sincerity she had always seen there. What do you want from me, Jake? I want a chance to prove to you that I'm not just a mechanic or a rich kid. I want to build a life with you, one that's based on honesty and love, he said, his voice filled with desperation. Emma felt her heart soften, but the fear of being hurt again lingered. I need time to think about this. I can't just forget everything that's happened. I understand, Jake replied, his expression pained. But please, don't shut me out. I'll do whatever it takes to earn your trust back. As they stood by the lake, the tension between them palpable, Emma felt torn. She loved Jake, but the betrayal weighed heavily on her heart. I need to process everything, she said finally, her voice trembling. I can't make any decisions right now. Jake nodded, his eyes filled with understanding. Take all the time you need. I'll be here, waiting for you. With that, Emma turned away, her heart heavy as she walked back to her car. The weight of uncertainty hung over her like a dark cloud, and she knew that the road ahead would be challenging. The following days were a blur for Emma. She went through the motions of her daily life, but her heart was elsewhere. She found herself replaying the conversation with Jake over and over in her mind, trying to make sense of everything. The love they shared felt real, but the secrets he had kept were a bitter pill to swallow. One evening, as she sat in her apartment, staring at the photo album she had shown Jake, she felt a wave of nostalgia wash over her. She remembered the laughter, the joy, and the dreams they had shared, but she also remembered the pain of betrayal and the uncertainty that now clouded their future. Emma decided to take a walk to clear her mind. As she strolled through the town, she found herself at the diner, where she had spent countless hours serving coffee and sharing stories with customers. The familiar sights and sounds brought her comfort, but they also reminded her of the life she had built before Jake. As she sat at the counter, sipping a cup of coffee, her friend Sarah approached her. Hey, Emma, you look a bit down. What's going on? Emma sighed, her heart heavy. It's Jake. He's not who I thought he was. What do you mean? Sarah asked, concern etched on her face. He's from a wealthy family. He's the heir to Harrison Motors, and he kept it a secret from me, Emma explained, her voice trembling. Wow, that's a big revelation, Sarah said, her eyes wide. How do you feel about it? I don't know, Emma admitted, feeling tears prick her eyes. I feel betrayed and confused. I thought we had something real, but now I'm questioning everything. Sarah nodded, her expression sympathetic. It's understandable to feel that way, but you also have to consider how you feel about him. Do you still love him? Emma took a deep breath, contemplating Sarah's question. I do love him, but can I trust him again? Can I accept his past and the life he left behind? Only you can answer that, Sarah said gently. But remember, everyone has a past. It's how we choose to move forward that defines us. Emma felt a flicker of hope at Sarah's words. Maybe she could find a way to reconcile her feelings for Jake with the truth of his identity. She realized that love was not just about the good times. It was also about facing challenges together. That night, Emma lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing. She thought about the moments they had shared, the laughter, the adventures, the way he made her feel alive. She remembered how he had always encouraged her to pursue her dreams and how he had been there for her during tough times. With a newfound determination, Emma decided she needed to talk to Jake again. She wanted to understand his perspective and see if they could find a way to move forward together. The next day, she texted Jake, asking him to meet her at the lake. As she arrived, she felt a mix of anxiety and hope. She spotted Jake sitting on a bench, his head in his hands. When he looked up and saw her, his face lit up with a mixture of relief and apprehension. Emma, he said, standing up, I'm so glad you came. Me too, she replied, her heart racing. I've been thinking a lot about everything. Jake stepped closer, his eyes searching hers. I'm ready to answer any questions you have. I want to be honest with you. Emma took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. I want to understand why you felt you had to hide your past from me. I need to know if you're truly committed to building a life together. I was scared, Jake admitted, his voice filled with emotion. "I thought if you knew who I really was, you wouldn't want me. I wanted to show you that I'm more than just my family's name. I wanted to earn your love, not have it given to me because of my wealth." Emma felt a wave of empathy wash over her. "I understand that, but it's hard for me to reconcile the man I fell in love with and the secrets you kept. I need to know that you're willing to be open and honest with me moving forward." "I promise, Emma, I'll never hide anything from you again," Jake said, his voice earnest. "I love you, and I want to build a future with you. I want to show you the real me, not just the mechanic or the heir." Emma felt her heart soften. "I love you too, Jake, but I need time to process everything. I want to be with you, but I need to know that we can face challenges together." "Take all the time you need," Jake replied, his eyes filled with understanding. "I'll be here, waiting for you." As they stood by the lake, the tension between them began to dissipate. Emma realized that while the road ahead would be challenging, they had the potential to build something beautiful together. Days turned into weeks, and Emma took the time she needed to reflect on her feelings. She spent time with friends, focused on her work, and even started sketching designs for a small clothing line she had always dreamed of launching. The creative outlet helped her regain her sense of self and independence. Meanwhile, Jake respected her space, but he never stopped reaching out. He sent her messages, sharing updates about his life and expressing his love for her. Each message reminded Emma of the connection they shared, and she found herself smiling at the thought of him. One evening, as she was closing the diner, Emma received a text from Jake. "I'm at the lake. Can we talk?" Her heart raced as she read the message. She had been thinking about him constantly, and the thought of seeing him again filled her with a mix of excitement and nervousness. After a moment of hesitation, she decided to go. When she arrived at the lake, the sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the water. Jake stood by the edge, his hands in his pockets, looking out at the horizon. As he turned to see her, his face lit up with a smile that made Emma's heart flutter. "Hey," he said softly, stepping closer. "Hey," Emma replied, her heart racing as she took in the sight of him. The familiar warmth of his presence washed over her, and she felt a rush of emotions. "I've missed you," Jake said, his voice filled with sincerity. "I've been thinking about everything we talked about, and I want to show you that I'm committed to being honest with you." Emma nodded, her heart swelling at his words. "I've missed you too, Jake. I've been doing a lot of thinking as well." Jake stepped closer, his eyes searching hers. "I know I hurt you and I can't take back the past, but I want to build a future with you, one that's based on trust and love." "I want that too," Emma admitted, her voice trembling. "But I need to know that you're willing to be open with me about everything, even the hard stuff." "I promise," Jake said, his expression earnest. "I'll share everything with you. I want you to know the real me, not just the part that's tied to my family's name." As they stood by the lake, the sun setting behind them, Emma felt a sense of hope blossoming in her heart. "I want to believe you, Jake. I really do." "Then let's take it one step at a time," he suggested, his voice gentle. "We can start fresh, and I'll do everything I can to earn your trust back." Emma smiled, feeling a weight lift off her shoulders. "I'd like that. I want to explore this together." With that, they embraced, the warmth of their connection rekindling the love that had brought them together in the first place. As they pulled away, Jake looked into her eyes, a mixture of hope and determination shining in his gaze. "Let's make new memories," he said, a smile breaking across his face. "I want to show you the world beyond this lake, the adventures we can have together." "I'd love that," Emma replied, her heart racing with excitement. "Let's start with a weekend getaway. Just the two of us." "Perfect. I know a great spot by the coast," Jake said, his enthusiasm infectious. "We can explore, relax, and just enjoy each other's company." As they made plans for their getaway, Emma felt a renewed sense of joy. She realized that while their journey had been filled with challenges, it had also brought them closer together. They were ready to face whatever came next, hand in hand. The weekend arrived, and Emma felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as she packed her bags for the getaway. She and Jake had decided to head to a charming coastal town known for its beautiful beaches and vibrant atmosphere. As they drove along the scenic route, the ocean came into view, and Emma felt a sense of freedom wash over her. When they arrived at their destination, the sun was shining brightly, and the salty breeze filled the air. Jake parked the car, and they stepped out, taking in the stunning view of the ocean stretching out before them. "Welcome to our weekend adventure," Jake exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Emma laughed, feeling the tension from the past few weeks melt away. "This place is beautiful." They checked into a cozy beachside cottage, and as they settled in, Emma felt a sense of peace. The sound of the waves crashing against the shore was soothing, and she could feel the weight of their past struggles beginning to lift. Over the next few days, they explored the town, indulging in fresh seafood, visiting local shops, and enjoying long walks on the beach. They laughed, shared stories, and created new memories that felt like a fresh start. One evening, as the sun began to set, they found a quiet spot on the beach. The sky was painted in shades of orange and pink, and the atmosphere was magical. Jake took Emma's hand, leading her to a secluded area where they could sit and watch the waves. "Emma," he said, his voice soft and sincere, "I want to thank you for giving me another chance. I know I don't deserve it, but I promise to work hard to earn your trust." Emma smiled, her heart swelling with affection. "You've already taken the first step by being honest with me." "I appreciate that, Jake." As they sat together, the sun dipping below the horizon, Emma felt a sense of hope for their future. They had faced challenges, but they were ready to embrace new beginnings together. "Let's make a pact," Jake suggested, turning to her with a playful grin. "No more secrets. We'll always be open and honest with each other, no matter what." "I like that," Emma replied. "I like that," Emma replied, her heart feeling lighter. "We'll build our relationship on trust and honesty from now on." Jake smiled, his eyes shining with determination. "And we'll support each other's dreams. I want to see you succeed with your clothing line, and I'll be there every step of the way." Emma felt a rush of gratitude. "Thank you, Jake. That means so much to me. I've always wanted to pursue this dream, but I've been afraid to take the leap." "Fear is natural, but we can face it together," he said, squeezing her hand. "You have so much talent, and I believe in you." As the sun set, they shared their hopes and dreams, discussing everything from their careers to their vision of a future together. Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that she had Jake by her side, supporting her every step of the way. The next day, they decided to take a day trip to explore nearby attractions. They visited a local art gallery where Emma found inspiration for her designs, and they spent the afternoon walking along the beach, collecting seashells and laughing together. With each passing moment, Emma felt the bond between them growing stronger. The weight of the past began to fade, replaced by a sense of excitement for what lay ahead. They were no longer just two people navigating their individual lives. They were partners, ready to face the world together. On their last evening at the beach, they returned to the spot where they had watched the sunset. The sky was clear, and the stars began to twinkle above them. Jake pulled out a small picnic basket filled with treats he had prepared, and they sat on the sand, enjoying the moment. "Emma," Jake said, his voice serious yet tender, "I want you to know that I'm committed to making this work. I love you, and I want to build a life together that's filled with love, trust, and adventure." Tears filled Emma's eyes as she looked at him. "I love you too, Jake. I'm ready to embrace this new beginning with you." As they shared a sweet kiss under the stars, Emma felt a sense of peace wash over her. They had faced challenges, but they had emerged stronger, ready to take on whatever life had in store for them. When they returned home from their getaway, Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose. She dove headfirst into her clothing line, using the inspiration she had gained from their trip. With Jake's unwavering support, she began to create designs that reflected her unique style and vision. Jake, too, was thriving. He continued to work at the garage, but he also started to explore opportunities in racing, something he had always dreamed of. He began to participate in local races, and Emma cheered him on from the sidelines, her heart swelling with pride. As the months passed, their relationship deepened. They learned to communicate openly, sharing their fears and dreams without hesitation. Emma found herself falling more in love with Jake every day, and she appreciated the man he had become. Someone who was not only passionate about his work, but also deeply committed to their relationship. One evening, as they sat on the couch together, Emma received an email that made her heart race. It was an acceptance letter from a local boutique that wanted to carry her clothing line. She couldn't believe it. "Jake, look," she exclaimed, showing him the email. "They want to feature my designs." Jake's face lit up with joy. "That's amazing, Emma. I knew you could do it." They celebrated together, and in that moment, Emma realized how far they had come. They had both faced their fears and pursued their dreams, and they were doing it together. As the seasons changed, so did their lives. Emma's clothing line gained traction, and she began to receive recognition for her work. Jake continued to excel in racing, and he even secured a sponsorship deal that allowed him to compete at a higher level. One evening, as they walked hand in hand along the beach, Emma felt a sense of contentment wash over her. "I can't believe how much has changed since we first met," she said, looking up at Jake. "Me neither," he replied, his eyes sparkling. "But I wouldn't change a thing. You've made my life so much richer." Emma smiled, feeling a warmth in her heart. "I feel the same way. I'm so grateful for you, Jake." As they stood together, the waves crashing at their feet, Emma knew that they had built a strong foundation for their future. They had faced challenges, but they had emerged stronger, ready to embrace whatever life had in store for them. As Emma and Jake continued to thrive in their respective passions, they realized that their journey was not just about their personal successes, but also about inspiring others. They wanted to share their story to encourage those who might be facing similar challenges in their relationships or pursuing their dreams. One evening, while brainstorming ideas, Emma turned to Jake. "What if we host a community event? We could invite local artists, designers, and entrepreneurs to showcase their work and share their stories. It could be a way to inspire others to follow their dreams, just like we did." Jake's eyes lit up with excitement. "That's a fantastic idea. We could also include workshops where people can learn about starting their own businesses or pursuing their passions." They began planning the event, reaching out to local businesses and artists to participate. They envisioned a day filled with creativity, inspiration, and community support. Emma designed promotional materials while Jake coordinated logistics and secured a venue. As the event date approached, they felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. They wanted to create an atmosphere where people felt empowered to share their stories and connect with one another. They believed that by sharing their journey, they could help others realize that love, trust, and hard work could lead to incredible transformations. On the day of the event, the venue was buzzing with energy. Local artists displayed their work, and attendees mingled, sharing their dreams and aspirations. Emma and Jake welcomed everyone with open arms, sharing their story of love, trust, and the importance of pursuing one's passions. As the day progressed, Emma led a workshop on starting a clothing line, sharing her journey and the challenges she had faced. Jake hosted a session on pursuing dreams in the racing world, encouraging others to chase their passions despite obstacles. The event was a resounding success, and Emma and Jake felt a sense of fulfillment as they watched people connect and inspire one another. They realized that their love story had the power to motivate others to embrace their own journeys. As the day came to a close, Emma stood beside Jake, looking out at the crowd. "We did it," she said, her heart swelling with pride. "We created something meaningful." Jake wrapped his arm around her shoulders, pulling her close. "And we'll keep doing it. This is just the beginning." Emma smiled, knowing that together they could make a difference in their community and beyond. They had turned their love story into a source of inspiration, and they were ready to continue their journey hand in hand. As Emma and Jake walked away from the event, hand in hand, they felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced challenges, embraced their true selves, and built a life filled with love and trust. Their journey was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever came next together. With dreams to chase and a community to inspire, Emma and Jake knew that their love story was just beginning, and they were excited to see where it would lead them. Disclaimer: This story is a work of fiction and is intended for entertainment purposes only. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental. The themes and characters are created to inspire compassion and understanding towards those facing challenges in life.